Oi, sit down lah. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sit Down. Today's episode is different already. If you're watching the video, you can see it's not our normal panel. Today I'm joined with my very lovely human being who decided to marry me. You want to introduce yourself for people who have no idea who you are?
I'm Mike.
Anywhere. Oh. You can do that one. You can do. This is your camera. This is your camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Suica, and I'm his wife.
Oh.
And travel partner.
It was a very interesting choice to do this, but it was also very timely because a lot of people are traveling to Japan this year, and a lot of our friends are traveling to Japan, and we traveled to Japan. I've had the beautiful opportunity to travel to Japan twice, and what has been happening is that we have a lot of notes. You have a lot of notes. Sorry, I have points. You have notes. And I thought it would be an interesting spin because this year we've done so much different content. We've done so many different shows. I told Vivian, like, hey, let's just try something else. We've had the Sit Down podcast for 200 episodes and I have like 200 plus episodes. And, you know, this is one thing that I want to try. It's been a very big ask that people have been asking me to bring you on a pod, do pods together, do the MingsuBingsu pod. And I'm like, you obviously don't understand what it's like having kids to set up podcasts at home. Today, it's a very lovely, but I hope a very useful episode for everyone who is potentially traveling, because we have had a very unique experience this year of both of us traveling to Japan for the first time. Was Japan ever on your list?
I think
wanting to travel?
We wanted to travel to Japan when I was for our honeymoon. And then obviously when I was pregnant, and then we decided maybe Japan was not going to be a good option. And I think we just kept it on the rest, but it was always a place that we'd heard a lot about it and we read a lot about it, but it was one of the things, but maybe one day we will go. Yeah. And then really surprisingly this year you went to Tokyo by yourself first, and then we had a family dinner, and then I think you brought up like, hey, why don't we start having let's have a family vacation this year. A family, like with all the parents, siblings, and then the kids. And then I think that was what sparked this whole conversation into happening, right? And then it was quite hard because like we had kids were young, like Sarah was 1, and I wasn't planning on traveling so far with her being so young.
Yeah, it is far.
Then Haley was 5, and then everyone's schedule was so busy. But then we're like, okay, if let's say everyone can clear the schedule, and if it's something feasible, then let's entertain this idea.
Yeah, what you're going to hear is a miracle of planning, which I think you did a really good job for, like how you chunk different things.
I think for someone who has never been to Japan before, I think even planning this, it was quite nerve-wracking. So I was telling him, like, even on this pod, like, it's not like we've been to Japan so many times.
I just want you guys to know, we're not pro-travelers. But the really big thing about this is, it's a very honest sharing about having your first trip there. And because a lot of people are having their first trip there.
Yes, and I think like planning a group travel as well. There's a lot of factors into it, and even I was planned for it, it was very hard to find information of questions that I was asking, like, oh, if we travel with like seniors or with children, what are the complications? What are things, amenities that is available there? Is it different than when here or in different places we've traveled? And all these places, like I've read like certain blogs, but it's very limited. Reels that we see on Instagram, it's just places that you can visit, but they don't tell you how to get there, what's there, can you change your diaper there, like how are we going to eat there? So I felt like this trip, with all the research and information that we have, if we could share it with someone who's traveling now, then this information will be very vital and be very helpful for someone to not start from scratch from where I was when I started planning this trip.
You're so thoughtful. You're going to see such a mix of different travel styles, of everything different in this pod. You're going to see a very big difference between, this is the best part about this pod, I feel. Both of us, first time travel to Japan. You're going to hear a solo point of view. You're going to hear a family point of view and a group point of view. You're also going to hear a Tokyo point of view and an Osaka point of view. And that's very important because Tokyo is a main city. Osaka is kind of like a secondary one, like a not so busy one. So you're going to have everything from like main city experience up until Nara type, Kobe type, out 1 hour out from the city experiences. And you're going to hear an amazing sharing from a point where there's spreadsheets and Excels and decks, and I have Discord chats with my friends. So what a stark difference it is to start it off. Okay. So yeah, take your bookmarks out, bookmark this podcast. I'm sure you're going to want to see things. Suyen already has all the content up on her Instagram at this point. If you like if you're a visual learner like me, I don't have checklists. I have Instagram saved videos. So here we go. The first part of anything to do with Japan is prepping for the trip. From a solo point of view, obviously way easier. But if you're traveling with a family, and just the difficulty of the family is 2 elderly parents, 3 couples, and 2 kids.
Children,
And the kids considered, one is an infant, right? So there's a different levels of things to do just in that.
I think difficulty level is like solo is like free and easy flexibility.
Yeah.
You can just book your accommodation and flights and figure things out.
Yeah.
And then when you go with other people, you need to take into like what other people want to do.
Yeah.
And then you have elderly, then you're like, okay, you cannot make it too
too much
in one day. And then you have children, then you're like, okay, you need to think of food and other things to entertain them as well. So you put them all into one.
Yes.
It's really quite a challenge.
This is, especially for the group travels, it's a very big deal because you got the margin of error in Japan, you pay by, the penalty is cash. If you plan wrongly and there's no trains, you pay a lot for taxis. So these are something to consider. I think a very good structure you set up, a very good planning style you set up for the trip with the family was that there were days that there's free and easy for the kids and the parents to rest. And during the free and easy, the couples which are younger can do whatever they want.
Yeah, so that worked really well. Because initially, one of the things that we came up was, do we want to do a tour? So you get someone to you tell them where you want to go and then they plan your itinerary out. But personally, and even as we travel together, I never really like tour because I feel like it's something that we could do and I wouldn't mind doing the research. But I think for people who really don't like to plan stuff, then probably joining a tour or having a private small tour would be best for them, because then they will charter vans to go between locations. But I think what we did was very nice because it gave us the flexibility to really plan according to what we would like to do.
And you don't need to rush.
Day. Correct.
Tours rush you around.
So what really helped was we went for 10 days. So it was a group of 10. And then it worked out in a way that we traveled in 2 different flights. So 6 of us consists of children, our parents and us. We came 3 days earlier. So we had time to rest and catch up on sleep and everything before the other batch of the group came. So when the time they came, it was okay, go time. And then we did more stuff. But what really helped during that period was I planned a group activities, maybe 4 activities on alternate days. So it's 1 activity we do as a group, and then before or after, you all just do your own thing. And then we would meet again at a certain place, we do it, and then the other day is free day. So it's activity and then free day, activity, free day. So free day is for our parents, they can just rest.
And then it's important I feel that that's the trick to group travels, because not everyone travels the same way. Not everyone wants to do the same things. So, but because this was there's a purpose, it's a family trip. So there's an understanding that, we want to do things as a family together.
And it's more of spending time together. It's not so much of checking a list, I must see X amount of places.
We'll get to the purpose in that for a bit, but I think that really worked in a sense where there were specific days that are assigned to be a 1 activity day and then free.
And then what I planned that was also in case if someone wasn't well, they had that liberty to rest and not miss out on things. Because there was a lot of things that we don't know what will happen.
We're all just very scared the kids were going to fall sick.
So that was the flexibility that gave us that space. If anything happened, it's okay. We can still cancel. We can still just pivot. But I think for a solo, the amount of things we did in that 10 days is considered very little. If we travel on our own, I'll be wow, this is really we really touch and go on a lot of stuff. But I think to bear in mind when you travel with family or in a large group, your expectation have to shift. So you have to decide actually what kind of trip is this? Is this like just to spend time together, or like this is go, go, go?
You really want to make use of every hour, which is nothing wrong. It's just that I think we
manage
opted for
expectations.
we did opt to have a bit more rest during the trip because the kids also are small. And I think we didn't want it to be a trip where it was unpleasant or
and
overtired.
also like correct, like we didn't want a trip that we just did all, and then by the time you finish a trip, you feel you need another vacation to just rest.
Exactly.
From it.
It was a very restful trip.
Yeah.
So
good pace.
So it's a good thing to always start with whoever you're going with, especially as a group, to set the expectations of, hey, what's going to happen? Because some people, I do believe some people are, I must use every single hour of the trip. I must use every single step. I want to make my air ticket worth it. I want to do this. But on the flip side, that's like solo traveling. Like I feel for solo traveling, you have basically up to you lah. You can make mistakes a lot more.
Do you plan your Tokyo trip?
I have a very easy solution for solo travels because I personally love Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan, and it's like my first time in my whole life. I want to see so much of Japan. I plan every day based on the station.
So it's like area based lah.
Yes. So it was, I knew there were things to do in that area, but every day was a different station I stopped at. And then I would explore that area. And I think when you're solo traveling in Japan is very optimal because everything is designed to be small in Japan. 10 people going around needs a lot of planning because not
Food
a lot of
also.
places don't let you in, especially F&Bs. So you don't have kid-friendly places. Almost non-existent baby chairs.
You just walk in, like everywhere you wanted to eat. You just
some
walk
people
in.
don't even have chairs. You just stand at the counter and
that's
eat.
True, that's true.
Yeah. So it was also more flexible because sometimes I didn't want to eat a full meal. I just go to a convenience store, I grab something, and then I continue on. So when you do travel solo, you have a lot of. I think it's safe to say you got a lot of space to make mistakes. But I know a lot of people have this and that do. I just give you a warning first. The train system in Tokyo, you need to get used to it. It's not easy. The main city ones at least. I would say you will definitely miss a train. You will definitely hop on the wrong train.
Yeah, the beginning, right?
Because it's the same train, same number, but it's a different express. It's very different things. The train system is something you need to be prepared for. But in terms of setting the expectation, for me, I didn't want to feel like I was rushed around. So I set station by station and station. So a bit more practical things to prepare for a trip other than the expectations is, if you travel recently, you would know. But if you don't travel a lot, you will know that now what do you call those cards that you need to fill?
Yeah, so when you go on a plane, the air stewardess will give you a declaration form that you need to fill in. Form. But then when you travel, actually I would do it even if I'm solo lah. Like even especially with families, right? You don't want to be like, you have to like fill up the card, especially you take night flight, then you need to fill like 10 people's card on the flight, right? With all the details. So what you can do is you can do it digitally before you even fly. You just need to go to vjw.digital.go.jp because I can't find it even when I search it, you know. You go, right? So what is so cool about it, right? You register. It's not a promotion.
I'm just going to ask people to search on Google. I don't know what it is.
I cannot find.
Yeah. So there's a specific site
where you register, right? And what's cool that you can do it for people with your family.
You can do a group thing.
Yeah. So I registered and then I just filled up everyone before. And then what you need is you just generate a QR code.
Yeah. So this is a step we missed.
So you need to generate a QR code for every single member of your family. So what you do is you screenshot it and then you save it in your photo album lah. So that when you go to the immigration, you don't have to fiddle in case you got internet.
Don't take the risk.
You can't generate at that spot. So you have it all prepared. 10 QR codes ready to go and just show in the immigration. It makes it very smooth.
This year.
Don't be like me. I thought, everyone's under me, so I generated just one code for me. So I went to immigration because we had priority lane, right? So when we arrived, there were like a lot of lanes, a lot of people, and then they gave us family priority lane. So like we were first. And
by the time we were done, no?
By the time we were done, there was nobody left in the immigration.
But also because Japanese immigration is very efficient, right? There is pre-trip prep you can actually do. And nowadays, like you go to Singapore and everything, you can do it online. So prepare all the travel documents first. This is very important because you need that visa and then you need the tax-free visa if you spend a lot of money. It's tied to your QR. So all this is a registration online you need to do. Unless you want to fill up the paper when you hit the immigration, then that's your choice. But it saves a lot of time.
Definitely the declaration form, fill up first, and then prep, and then prepare your eSIM.
Yes, the SIM
you
cards.
save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then I spend 50. I use Airolo, where I bought 5 gig of data for about 50 plus ringgit.
Right.
And I end up only using 3 gig because we had Wi-Fi in our
because we were
Airbnb,
at home,
right? So like you used.
So I have eSIM or roaming services from my telco. But you can, if you really want to go all Japanese traveler type, you can get traveler SIMs readily available at like big camera places like that when you touch down. Just that when we were traveling as a family, I don't want to make more mistakes. We don't want to be at the mercy of trying to find a Wi-Fi while trying to catch a train because it gets late.
Because I wanted to immediately when I touch down to be able to contact all our private.
So just these 2 simple things, I think, unless you have more, it's just your eSIM and then your registration, which is the most prep you can get before you even go for the trip.
Yeah.
Of course, packing, I don't know even how to touch packing when it comes to this because it's things like weather, season you're at, how you're traveling, do you have kids?
I think I always check the weather even depending on which season you go. Like for us, we were like in between like beginning autumn. I think like always check like a day or 2 or even like a week prior to see whether it rains and also the temperature of it. But on the area of caution, I think because we went like early autumn, there was that possibility that this year things were not as cold as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, weather is delayed like a month apparently this year. So just check where you are traveling to, check the season because obviously it depends on what month you're traveling of the year.
So packing, right? Like what your sister did was they packed 2 suitcases. So a suitcase inside a suitcase. And then they put their clothes in the inside the suitcase.
Yeah, this is a thing people really do.
Because we had a laundry, because we told them that there's a laundromat just down from our house. So you can easily just wash your clothes within 40 minutes. So they packed so like 3 pairs of pants, 3 pairs of like shirts. That's all they had. And then they just bought clothes there.
Yeah.
And then they had an extra bag for stuff.
Yeah.
So we really bought like, our airline allowed us 35 kilo, but you can check in as many pieces as you want.
Yeah.
So like we really just bought like extra
duffel
cabin
bags
and duffel bags to just check in for things that we're going to buy later on.
Yeah, it's a big thing because I just want to say if you're a fan of Japan, you're going to do a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
We will talk about shopping later because you need to be very focused and very disciplined with it, or you're going to suffer because it's either you have nothing to buy or you cannot stop buying stuff. It's no either or. But yeah, packing in terms that solo, obviously, if you want to travel light, you can because you can, as long as you find a laundromat, and there's a lot of laundromats in Japan. I think the preparation for that is knowing where you stay.
Yeah.
And when that house that you chose, we had a washing machine, which helps so much. And there was enough amenities around. It really will determine how much clothes you bring. Because I'm not the kind of traveler, I pack a lot of clothes. I do not want to risk. Because I have had trips where I forget to bring my underwear, literally.
Yeah.
So shout out, thanks Darren for bringing the underwear for our trip. I have had because I also change my clothes a lot.
You sweat.
Yeah, I sweat a lot. So you're very sweaty and you're going in summer, well, hats off to you. It's really hot. Just plan for the weather that you're going in. I think we are not really ready for the weather until it hits you.
I think for me, when I travel with the kids, I really pack like enough clothes for 10 days. Because like without being there first, like there's no guarantee like whether, I don't know the laundromat how long. I don't know like what if the laundromat is like always like people use that I cannot wash.
So call me dumb, but one way Suyen packs the kids' outfit is she chooses the outfit for the day already.
Yeah, so I pre-pack. I shared on my story. People actually commented that like, hey, that's actually quite smart.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
So like I pre-plan all my clothes in advance. At least for me, I put like shirt, pants, whatever jacket, and then I roll it in one. So it's like each bundle is one day. So I have 10 bundles in my suitcase.
I've never thought of doing that.
So one side mine and one side the kids.
In my head, it's like 5 days here, you go 5 shirts.
Yeah.
And then I will maybe change 3 out of the time. So here, 3 more shirts.
Okay, like all your shirts like all black shirts, then it's like all the same, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Black bundle.
But I never thought of that because it's so systematic for the kids. You don't need to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But also it was less of a burden because really the washing machine helps a lot. having a washing
I
machine there.
definitely packed more clothes than we used in the end.
Yeah.
And then with kids, it's like one suitcase was just our clothes and one more bag was just kids stuff.
Yeah.
Diapers, milk powder, food. What if don't have this? What if don't have that?
Because you do need to have extra clothes for kids. I don't know how you think kids are like, but accidents can happen and you need to change clothes while you're on the go.
I was like, what if the suitcase didn't arrive at the airport?
So splitting clothes or whatnot, having travel bags and everything, please plan for that because you do not want to have all your baby stuff in one bag that doesn't arrive.
Yeah.
And then you're there and you're panicking without diapers, without milk, without all these kind of things. Split your necessities if needed, right? So anything else for the pre-trip planning besides that?
I think if you know specific, I like to have a very well-planned trip, right?
Yeah.
So then, especially when you travel in groups, so like activities that you want to do, I feel like especially you go to peak season, you really need to, don't underestimate how early you need to get your tickets.
Yeah.
Special trains that you want to take to a specific city, there are like trains that goes as early as 3 months tickets and they get sold out the day it's launched.
Yeah.
So you have to really find out where you want to go, what activities you like, USJ tickets, park tickets.
Yeah.
You buy early. So I buy most of my tickets all on Klook.
Some of my friends plan their holiday around the ticket they can get.
Correct. So like even when we bought our flight tickets, right? I actually bought it the same time as I booked our accommodation because everything's surrounded by where we needed to stay, where we stay, and then other dates available, and then the flight tickets prices. So like I had to like compare both. So unless you don't secure your accommodation, I wouldn't secure our flight. Vice versa. So once we had that, then I secured all our like tickets for our activities. But I underestimated how early I needed to buy it. So there were some special trains that I wanted to take. We couldn't
take.
Yeah. So like that's something I told people, like really research even months, like 6 months in before. Go research where you want to go, and if you want to experience the special trains, find out when they launch and then camp for those tickets.
Special trains, special restaurants, special cafes, special theme parks, special activity places. Japan had its record-breaking tourism levels this year. And I think it's safe to say, I've had friends who wing Japan trips, so they plan 1 week in advance. You don't plan, you pay. That's basically
it's very sad lah. Like you spend, I feel like if people take leave to make that trip and then you spend money on your flight tickets and stuff, then you go there, then you end up, I want to do this, cannot
do.
I want to do, cannot. Then I feel it's like so wasted your experience there.
I think because I'm definitely a fan of things like Pokemon, for example. There are cafes that you cannot book until you get the next opening slot. Or there are restaurants that people want to try, you can't book until you get the next opening slot. It would be safe to say if you are going to Japan for a specific reason, you try to get that ticket first and then you book your trip. Because you don't expect that I'm going to Japan this date, I'm going to get a ticket at that date. It's just not going to happen.
It's not like Malaysia.
It's really not. Even handling the tickets for the family trip was already like up and down, left and right. So that's one thing for pre-trip prep. Up to packing, and then let's finally move on to the traveling. There's more
for transportation. For iPhones especially, you can actually download. So if you're planning to take trains in Japan, then you need your travel card. For iPhones, you can use your wallet to you buy either your Suica card, Passmo or Icoca card. Either one of these three. It's so easy because you just top it up, and then whenever you go to the train station, you just like tap to go.
Yeah, because it has an auto detect for your Passmo.
And then for kids 6 years old and below, it's free.
So that's great.
So like tag along. One of the kids just tag along one of us, and then we enter the same way.
And guys, families, milk the priority lane wherever you go.
Airplanes, check-in counters, just immigration.
You are carrying a baby, you are having a stroller, just go straight to priority lane.
Or elderly parents, right? You're like, come together.
Just milk it. You will not regret milking the priority lanes. But also in terms of now, we are transitioning to the travel portion of it. Solo, I don't think there's a problem. I think solo, you're a grown adult, you can do whatever you want. It's more of get the best bargain for your trip. And most of the best bargains are really weird timing flights. The only thing for solo travels that also applies to family that I can say, as you are hunting for your bargain for your ticket prices, know that trains close and open at a certain time, know which airport you're going to, and know that the price of a penalty is taxis in Japan are extremely expensive.
Yeah, their Uber, it's a 30 minutes ride can cost you about 50 ringgit.
No, more than that, honey. Way more than that. We
the
were
30 minutes. Oh no, 15 minutes. Sorry, 10 minutes ride
10
was
minutes
50
ride is 50
ringgit.
ringgit.
Yeah.
The one that we do 1 hour was 800
Yeah.
ringgit.
No. It was 300 plus for
300?
30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was that. There was the one
But
time
it's
we went.
crazy expensive.
Just don't buy taxis.
In comparison with train, it would have cost like
Nothing.
10 ringgit.
Yeah. So if you're solo, yes, bargain for midnight flights, for awkward weekday flights, you get very good prices. I think the only thing you can maybe top up for
How
yourself
much you paid
is
for Tokyo that time you went?
it was less than 2005. I think it's only 2005 for promotional
because
prices.
are way cheaper when you fly into Tokyo compared to we flew straight into Osaka.
So just back
direct flight.
Do know that Tokyo is the central part. Yeah. And if you want to go to other places, you have to top up in domestic flights.
If you want to do a transit.
Yes.
But with kids, honestly, just pay the money and just do a direct flight. Even a direct flight is 6 hours.
You don't want to do transits with kids.
We did a night flight going there and then a day flight. Night flight was a breeze.
Yeah.
Because we took MAS and then it was like 10 something, so it's like perfect. We timed their nap, make sure they had their meal, everything, and they slept all the way. So 6 hours flew by very easy.
Not the
coming back day flight, I told him, I always tell people, like, unless you have a very good reason to travel with small kids, you either travel before they have solids, so it's like 6 months under, or you wait until they're 3 years old.
Just know that if you're traveling at that age, you're not traveling for them, you're traveling for you. And they are a responsibility at some point.
The only reason we did this was because it was like a group family trip.
Correct.
If it was just our family, I would have waited until Sarah was older.
Infants do get free seats. The problem is, it sounds like a great deal until you realize that they need to lie down somewhere. So you, as traveling as a family, just take into consideration this lah. If you want to hold your baby for the whole trip, you want to hold for 6 hours.
I think if you have a day flight, right, I would, if budget's not an issue, I would just pay for their own seat.
Yeah.
I really
leg space, premium economy. If you got money and means to go business or first, then good job on you lah. But just know that these days to Japan, there are a lot of families. So get ready for a lot of noise.
A lot of crying.
Yes. If your kid don't do well, please prepare what do you call it? The ear muffs. Yeah, there's very good travel ear muffs for kids. And I just want to say, it's the first time we actually purposely did it. We upgraded our tickets for our parents. And I have no regrets.
Yeah, that extra leg room was so good. For parents and also like for kids, like we could like just chuck all our bags underneath. They have space to like walk. I could change her diaper like lying down on the floor.
Oh yeah, changing diapers in the plane. All the best, everyone. If you need to go to the toilet to change, but I think definitely it's way trickier traveling with infants. Especially if it's the first time traveling and you've never had a prior flight. An 8-hour, 6-hour journey is a very difficult thing.
It's very long for the kids.
Yes.
Like pack a lot of snacks. I think also like research which airline you are on and the model of the flight. So like when we went there, the flight, they had like entertainment, right? They had videos and stuff. But on the flight coming back, which was also a day flight, they had zero entertainment.
I don't want to say our ticket experience was a nightmare, and I'm not going to say anything now. It's just a nightmare. It was horrible.
Yeah, we were one of the unfortunate ones where our flights got like
so bad.
Rescheduled.
We had the worst experience booking the tickets for the family trip. Because
it worked.
I mean, somehow it worked at the end because we chose to fly a local plane. But I went there on my own. I flew Anna Air, and it was just perfect. Like I have no qualms and nothing to do. Food was amazing. Service was amazing. But yeah, definitely the difficulty to figure out kids travels. I would say if your kid has traveled a bit before, it's easier.
If Haley was fine. Haley was totally a champ. Sarah one, day flight, definitely very challenging. We have like a lot of snacks, a lot like you just download like videos on YouTube on your iPads, get a lot of like drawing things to just to fill their time.
Yeah.
And then like really just let them nap and eat all they want. So either their hands are busy or their mouth is busy, or not they will try and like kacau other people
Or
around.
just cough medicine and chloroform at some point.
But we were very thankful on the flight back, right? We sat 2 seats, but the other seats between us were empty. So we had like 4 seats.
Yeah, and they could lie down.
And that one alone also, like Sarah had like space to
she can walk up and down.
So imagine there was a kid that was crying in front because I think he had only his seat.
And he had no space.
And then he was just crying unconsolably. And I felt so like concerned for the parents because like Sarah would have been in the same spot if we didn't have extra seats.
Again, it was a nightmare condition because that whole flight was a pivoted flight.
Yeah, it was an older model.
Yeah.
It was an older model.
It was a disaster experience. I'm so tempted to say, but I won't because I'm...
It's okay, we made it back safely.
Yes,
no
we made
delay.
it back safely. I will never travel this airline again. Shame on Malaysia. Sorry, my bad. But yes, travel is that. I think in terms of preparation for it, do know that I think Japanese flight, immediately bombarded by Japanese. So just get ready for the culture shock. If anything else...
They're so efficient.
Yeah, if
the moment
anything
we landed
else,
at the immigration,
it's amazing.
It was like efficient.
I just want to say flying on Anna Air was a dream. Flying on the one that we went to was a nightmare because they are so inconsiderate. Like I'm not going to say anymore. Anyway, my bad. Let's go to actually getting there. So just a transitional note for in between flying to getting there. This was something that even my brother didn't know. But I had the benefit of my friends who have been living in Japan. And I had friends who are half Japanese who go there frequent a lot. And I've had a lot of kind of pre-prep because I always ask them about their trips. Do know that this is a travel hack. It's a travel hack. There are a few airports to go to when you reach Tokyo or you are flying to Tokyo. People usually go to Narita. Narita is far. It is far from Tokyo City and it is the place where a lot of tourists go to.
Is it a bigger airport?
I do not know because I've never had a need to go. Fly to Haneda. Haneda is closer, it's faster, and it's superbly efficient. So just take note of where your Airbnb is or where you're going to stay and where these 2 airports are going to be. But that's for traveling to Tokyo. If you're traveling to Osaka, you just fly to a different airport entirely.
Yeah, it's in Kansai. There's also 2 airports, but Kansai is the international flights.
Please double check which airport you're going to in relation to where you're staying because there are better options. So that's it. That's my note for the airports.
But a little tip also, I feel like if you're going to have a very early flight from the airport, you can always consider booking a hotel connected to the airport the day prior. I think that helps a lot because like train stations may not open that early and also just having to do all that so early in the morning might not be very conducive as well.
Correct.
So with that, one tip is stay somewhere near to the airport the day before you fly.
Out. One thing I did when I was driving solo was because my plane arrived very late at night, right?
And it's like 10 p.m.
Yeah, I have no regrets doing this because you really need to don't underestimate how complicated the train station is. It's actually very efficient, but if it's your first time, don't underestimate the experience. So what I did was because I reached so late at night, I actually had 1 hour before train closes. So it was like, hey, a normal traveler will I'll rush for it. I'll rush for the train. And then you forget that the train isn't a straight line like Malaysia. It's transit lines. And it's not one transit. It's like 4 stops transit, 4 stop transit. And the amount of time in Japan for trains, between trains,
minutes.
Means you got to fly off one train, look for the correct exit, the correct other exit, and look for the correct platform in 2 minutes. And if it's your first time and you're coming off a 6-hour flight, just don't dream lah. At some
first
point,
day confirm sure will take like a few wrong trains.
Wrong train is just wrong station at some point also, okay? So what we did was, and I got to Haneda. Haneda has a terminal hotel. So right next to the terminal where I reached, there's a very cheap hotel, very comfortable, very clean. You just stay on the night. And then tomorrow, grab something from the convenience store and then leave.
Then you're not in a rush to like figure things out. Right?
Just a note lah, okay? Unless you guys are super adventurous and you want to save money everywhere, then again, you can do you, but the price of mistakes in Japan is just time or more money lah, right?
So one of the things we also decided to spend on was, because we traveling in a large group, was we chartered a van to pick us directly from the airport because we landed at, I think it was like 6
morning.
6 a.m. or something. And then like with luggages, with kids, and then like figuring out the train system with all our luggages. So we just
rush hour is a very big deal, and it's not kid friendly. I'm just gonna put it there. The charter was a very big expense.
It was a great choice.
Yes.
And then they just took us straight from the airport to our Airbnb, which we also, because Airbnb, usually you check in at 4 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So what we did was we booked the Airbnb an extra day before. So technically, once we reached there at 7 o'clock, we just checked into our Airbnb. So it was a very smooth transition.
Please consider private transport if you have kids and a big family, if it's an option for you, because rush hour in Japan is painful.
Yeah.
Like if you're traveling with infants and you have to fight space with working adults
because you're already
everywhere,
so tired after the flight.
It's really not pleasant. Like, it's doable. It's just really not pleasant.
Not advisable.
It's not advisable if it's the first thing you're getting out of the plane to do.
But it feels so nice. Like the moment you finish your flight, and you're like,
you can relax.
Just straight to our Airbnb and
also,
rest.
a very good note. We had a very good timing that we didn't expect because we actually traveled from the airport to our place before
the rush hour.
Mingyu arrived during rush hour, and they took forever to get to the place.
It took about double the time to reach.
So do know this, okay? Rush hour in Japan is rush hour. It's really packed. Trains, taxis, everything, it's packed. So plan accordingly. The train will get you there on time. You just don't understand how squeezy the train is. Because we experienced it once in the family. It was crazy. I experienced it every day in Tokyo traveling solo. But that's just the train. I don't want to talk more about the trains because it's a whole culture by itself.
But essentially, the train was you will rely on Google Maps a lot.
Yes.
So you just need to put where you want to go and where your destination is, and they'll list out all the timings and all the available trains. And we always just look for the one that has the most like direct, like if possible, one direct train from location A to B, the most one transit. So instead of, because they will arrange it according to the cheapest or the fastest.
They're the soonest. It depends how you arrange the trains. So the only thing for family that I think we can give a bit of a hack for, because Google Maps works so well with trains there. It's completely synced to each and every minute of the train. You need to know that when you open it for the first time, it will recommend the next train.
Yeah.
And you need to know the margin of error for this is very low. So the only hack I can tell you is for families, try to find the least amount of transits.
Transit,
it will save you your life. And that's number one. Number two is you don't have to take the next train.
Yeah.
There are other trains with a bit more time because you need time to figure out which exit, which platform, which train.
Yeah, so, it sounds very it wouldn't make sense if you haven't been there before.
But just know.
But I think you just need to know that you can always pre-plan. So because we have like a group chat, right? So like if let's say the next day we're going to Kobe, I will look at the on Google Maps. I say I want to leave at this time.
Yeah.
What trains are available? I screenshot and I tell like, okay, we're going to catch this 2:42 p.m. train. Yep. So that means we need to leave the house like 15 minutes before. So then like you don't have to go there and you only search. You can actually and they keep track of that. They're on time.
It's really on time. Yeah. It's superbly on time. The only thing that is probably going to really confuse you is the same station has the same number of platforms.
Yeah, and like there's same lines. West exit or different exits.
But the minute it says a different exit, you're on the wrong train.
Yeah.
So it's the same time
the experience, I guess.
So I just the only thing I can contribute is give yourself like maybe 2 days to really get used to the train, because it is Japan's a metropolis, and their train system is superbly efficient. So you get what you see. If there are delays, it'll be announced as well. But know.
And then for kids also, like most trains, they actually have lift elevator.
Yeah.
Just that sometimes where you go, elevator is like on either ends.
It's very
so
far.
like with Sarah, I usually have her in the carrier like 95% of the time. And then Haley uses the stroller. So whenever like we need to go, we're like, okay, Haley, get up. And then we just
we carry and just go up the stairs.
And then rush hour, you just need to fold it, right? We can't use a stroller.
So if you have a stroller, there are specific trains for wheelchairs and strollers that we always try to look for. But most of them, they're just all full. So just try to look for that first. The only thing else is that I find very interesting is that if you do have transits, they will actually recommend you which car to go on. Car meaning which segment of the train. And this is important because you do not have time to run from the wrong car to the exit to the next transit. So they let you plan which, like, a train might have 8 carts, they will tell you to go to 4. Very important because it's just important. If the Japanese thing is important, it's important, okay? That's for trains.
Yeah, I think by the third day, we were like so in tune with like, okay, where do we go? Where do we wait?
Yeah. It was a joy. For me, traveling solo, I purposely took rush hour trains. Because Adeline, my friend who stays in Japan, was like, Meha, you need to experience it once. I never want to experience it again in my life. Like, you don't know how much they get in your personal
space. Can you imagine,
space.
right? You go one station, it's packed. The next station, they don't care. They just push you in and it's even packed, more packed. Then the next station, they just push you to the edge. You touch everyone's butts.
There was, for the family trip, there was someone's 2 butt cheeks on my 2 butt cheeks. And I was wearing this very thin pants. And I just woo the whole time. Like I've never felt so violated in public in my life.
And Haley's like, oh, there's so many people.
Yeah, and the
so
poor
hot.
girl, she's like somewhere down there, you know. So I really, as a solo trip, I do recommend you experience it.
Yeah.
Family, you might want to think twice. Yeah. So that's just it for traveling.
Try to avoid it if possible.
If can, but I honestly think it's quite unavoidable if you are very packed out with activities. You do need to catch trains. So just word of advice for families. Okay, going on. A lot of people ask where we stayed. I'm very sad and I don't want to tell people because I want to be able to book this place again. But all I'm going to say is it was a place for 10 people. Suyen has talked about it on Instagram. It was a beautiful house. It was a lot of space. Japan definition of space. And it's expensive because it's for 10 people. So
it came out actually not bad. So like when we planned our accommodation, it was very important that it was near to a train station.
Number 1.
And near I mean like 5 to 10 minutes walk.
Yes.
And then it was amenities around. Like, do they have convenience stores, supermarkets, drugstore? So like in Malaysia, right, you want to buy diapers, you go to like supermarket.
Yeah.
They got diapers, they got everything, right? But in Japan, right, you go grocery store, it's only food stuff.
It's not there. Yeah.
There's no like kitchen stuff and stuff. You have to go to a drugstore, then it's like your Watsons and pharmacies and stuff.
It's all separated.
So you have to look, if you want to look for diapers, you have to search for like drugstores.
Yeah.
And then that will be where you can get like your milk powders and stuff.
Suyen has a guide also up because there's a specific signboard you can look for. I forgot what the name of that store is. It's all for kids one. The milk powder store and everything, right? But that's just choosing your place to stay lah. I don't think there's any wrong decision between Airbnbs or hotels. It's up to you.
I would say don't scheme on like budget wise. I would always spend on convenience and also on accommodation because especially with kids and like in a large group, the majority of people will spend like 70% in the house. So getting a space that is comfortable, that is also aesthetically like pleasing, like because there is a lot of like cheaper places, but it's like quite far out one.
Yeah.
Or like you go then it's like all mismatched furnitures. But but the one that I found was they do specifically like Airbnbs one.
They specialize in making Airbnbs.
Yeah.
The place that we stayed was surrounded with 2 more places that were owned by them as well. Right next door.
And then like we had like a market near us. So there's like a wet market you can buy, you can walk. There's a lot of things to do.
I mean, it's important what you want as a holiday lah. Like I think one big part for Japan for me was it's very nice to live life like a local. So to experience the local neighborhood, to see what they eat, where they go, we really fulfilled that for the family trip.
Yeah.
The solo trip was a very tourist trip.
Yeah.
So I did not have any of it. I just bunked over with a friend. I slept on his kitchen floor.
Because you spend most of the time out.
Yeah, because to me, sleeping is just sleeping. So I really didn't care. I didn't even book a hotel. I literally slept on the floor of his kitchen. And I spent probably only sleeping in the house. The whole day I was out on my feet. Yeah. So it's how you want to travel and what you want from your place. Of course, if you go to Tokyo, there's going to be less of an opportunity to have like neighborhood lifestyles and everything. But if you go to where we were in Osaka, it's very family friendly. It's very pleasant. It's so comfortable.
Do you know what I found out when I was planning this? Do you know if you're going to stay for quite a number of days, right? So I think we booked 10 nights, you can actually message the Airbnb owner and you tell them like, hey, I want to book 10 days. Do you have a discount? And he said, oh, sure. It came out, he gave like 5% off or something.
Yeah, mine was great. I messaged my friend Adeline, asked whether her boyfriend can bung me over. And I've never met the boyfriend in my life.
For the first time,
I shared his towels. You know, so shout out, I love you, dude. You are the best. And I bought him a pair of shoes as a payment. Yeah. So I say it's a pretty good deal.
Because accommodation in Japan is actually, so the biggest cost actually in Japan is your accommodation, your flight, and then like your transport.
Yeah. And if you think about it, right, it's such a big cost because it's the one thing you're not around. You pay for the sleep and you're just out.
So our accommodation actually came out average, right, per room usually comes out to about like 500 a night.
Pretty much like that.
500 ringgit. So for Airbnb also, it came out to about a couple was about 500.
So just to paint that for people, how much was it one night in the Airbnb? That
about
big
500.
house?
400-ish. Below 500 per couple.
Per couple. So okay, I want the night price.
Yeah.
One night was how much for that Airbnb?
1,009. But we had 5 rooms.
Yeah, but and it was really nice.
Because I was actually going back, like, should we just stay in a hotel? Because then amenities all covered, ma.
Yeah.
But then our whole point is we spend time together, so we need communal space. So let's go
really
with Airbnb.
It was really good.
And finding a place that had 5 rooms was like close to impossible.
Yeah, it was. But somehow
we found it. Yeah. And we were really like, hey, better book this.
Wow,
if it goes off, no more.
Yeah. It was like a dream come true because it was next to a school.
Yeah.
So you can hear like everything
it's so
that
nice,
you
got
see.
Garden.
Yeah, got garden,
it's like very
got like the bamboo water shoot with water coming out.
Yeah.
Everything that I've seen in movies and cartoons, we've experienced it in the house. So it was very, very nice. But yeah, places where you stay will dictate a lot of what you do.
And also I think with like families, because a lot of families ask like, where do Sarah sleep? So I think you have to really ask your owner, like, do you offer baby chair?
Yeah.
Baby cot? In our case, they had baby chair but not baby cot. So like I tried looking at like rentals, but it's quite hard because the Airbnb owner will not like help you to like collect and like drop it off for you.
The delivery is
the delivery is very hassle. So what I did was I just bought a travel cot secondhand on Carousel for like 200 ringgit. And
best choice.
Yeah, it was a portable one. So like we just check in because it was under 10 kilo.
Yeah.
So just check in, we just set it up in our room. And then perfect.
It was perfect. There's a thing called travel cots, by the way, if you all didn't know. It's a collapsible cot, like a tent.
If you go to a hotel, you just request. Usually they will have it on.
Yeah. So that's the place to stay. I think up until this point, we hopefully have covered the very basics of planning because I think everyone plans differently for up until here. The place to stay really is a luxury depending on your travel style, I guess. But for us, because we had a family and we want to spend time together, it really worked out lah. And this leads into, we're already at like 50 minutes in. Thank you for listening so far. Get ready for the good stuff now, I guess. What you do there, right? So I don't think we need to go into all the activities specifically because you can watch that on Suica's Instagram. But just the difference between family and solo traveling, right?
Food,
I think, food is the number one. Let's not even talk about activities first. You need to understand doing stuff there means food. Your basic necessities.
That even planning food, right? It's a group, to have a place that can accommodate 10 people, you really need to research. And then whether not all places allow kids to dine in.
Yeah.
There are certain places that's a bit more fancy, right? They do not allow kids to dine.
Yeah.
I guess because of
the places that maybe you like to go, no baby chairs. You know?
So you have to like really ask before, like, I will usually just review lah. Ask like, do they offer? Can kids dine in? Do they allow stroller inside? If some they allow kids to dine in, but they do not have baby chair. So then they have to either sit on your lap or on a chair.
Yeah.
And then most places they will say if you got no reservation, you cannot dine in. But there are places that they definitely allow you to like walk in. But because we're so large, right, our group, we did phone reservations as well. So I think like I did reservations twice online a week before.
And
then some we call.
Yeah.
Even when we call a day before, right, they always tell us 6 p.m. and 12 p.m. is booked. So if you want to eat, you have to eat earlier. Yeah. So we will eat like at 5 or
which
11.
Worked out for the kids.
Which works out really well.
Yeah. Just know that I think if you're going in a group, it's really not friendly to groups that are more than 4 already. 4 is a very optimal number to travel around in.
Yeah.
But if you're taking a family and it's bigger, or you're taking kids, you do need to prepare, because it was very apparent, right? When you prepare, and the day that we came back at night and we were trying to find a spontaneous place to eat,
That's very
I just told Suica, just go to fast food.
Yeah.
That's the simplest.
So majority of our meals at our home is we went to grocery store.
So this is the fun part.
Either we buy food back to cook. Usually breakfast we will cook at home. Or just go to the supermarket, get those ready to eat meals, or even at convenience stores. And then everyone just like buy whatever they want to eat, and then we just eat together at home.
So the really big twist between my solo trip to the family trip, the really great X factor secret that we found is grocery stores. The supermarkets, the local supermarkets, whatever you think you enjoy in convenience stores, you enjoy 10 times more going to grocery stores.
Live supermarket.
It's live supermarket. So this is the place to go.
It's called Live,
it's
like
called
LIFE.
Yeah.
Live
so we didn't know it was like a highest recommendation thing. It's just that, it was around us.
It was pretty big.
It's cheaper.
It was like 4 floors.
First and foremost, convenience store, expensive. So take Family Mart, Lawson's, all of this as if you're buying from 7-Eleven in Malaysia. They're all elevated prices already. So at the price that you're paying for a convenience store, you can maybe buy twice the amount in a grocery store. We ate sashimi until I didn't need to eat it in the second day. That's how much we bought. And we were just talking to the guys just now. In terms of price, if we were to eat the same amount of sashimi as for 10 people, we bought full meals, full dinners for 10 people that only costed 300 ringgit or 400 ringgit. And this was very lavish meals. That would cost 1,000 plus in KL. That would cost 1,000 plus if you go and dine outside in Japan. So traveling the family did have this unexpected, very big perk, which is grocery store shopping, because that's where all the locals go to. You will find that their palates are very different. Only we buy salmon. Everyone that eats tuna.
I love salmon.
So you do that salmon. I love tuna, and I just say that
it's so soft, right?
I know the quality of the food of the grocery stores is better than restaurants. A lot of restaurants in KL. So do yourself a favor, plan for grocery and supermarkets.
If there's wet markets there, go get
Even
like
better.
their unagis, go
even
get
better.
their sashimi.
You can buy so much if you know the different grocery stores around
banana,
you.
they're very expensive.
Yeah, just make a note. Yeah, tropical fruit there are very expensive. So for y'all who need banana and everything, all the best. They're the highest expense there. We bought like trays of eggs.
Eggs
the milk is to die for there.
Milk, dairy, their cheese, butter.
So some hacks. If you want to buy juice and milk and carton stuff, in Japan there are rules, right? For fruit juice, real fruit juice, you can tell if they use pictures of real fruit on their cartons, because there's a rule in Japan that you're not allowed to use fruit pictures unless it contains real fruit juice. So if you see a bottle with just drawings, illustrations, that's all syrup, right? And for milk, real non-additive milk, they will have a small indent on the top of their carton. There's a small curve on the top. So at the top of the carton, right at the top, there's a small dent like that. So when you go and find milk, I 100% recommend find Hokkaido milk. And Hokkaido milk almost always has the picture of their prefecture on the map of their map on the carton. You will not regret it. This is like the 2 guilty pleasures of necessities.
Yeah, it was so good. There was one day when we went out to the park and I forgot. I brought all of Sarah's milk bottles, but I didn't bring her formula out. So I just went to the convenience store. I bought Hokkaido milk and I just gave her fresh milk and she drank.
She loved it. I loved it. I had no lactose intolerance in Japan and I don't understand how that works. So just so you all know, I'm not saying that for those of y'all with lactose intolerance, just go for it. Just bring your pills, okay? But try. But yeah, I think in terms of that, everything else, is there any recommendations?
Their grapes were amazing. Eat their grapes. Or actually any fruits that's in season. When you go, just buy it and eat it.
It will change your life.
Yeah, persimmon. When we went there, it was persimmon, grapes.
If you do go there during their melon season, you're in for a treat. So that's just the grocery hacks. I don't want to tell too much because I feel that if you are going there for the first time, you should have that element of exploring. So we're just going to set you up with basic knowledge to work off. But that's that's the whole grocery style. I'm more of a grocery boy now compared to a convenience store.
Yeah, so like with the kids also, they just add whatever we had.
Yeah.
Like we could just buy like udon noodles.
Yeah.
They just add like rice with the chicken. They just add off whatever we add. So we didn't. I brought food pouches just in case the food were not suitable, or maybe like some timing backup food in case like we ate very late and they were hungry.
Yeah.
So I used the food pouches for the first few days. Then after later on, they just add whatever we add.
Yeah, I think Sarah just loved all the food there.
Oh yeah.
So sandwiches, egg sandwiches are really good
snack
food for kids.
Yeah.
Japan is very considerate, so they do sell a lot of kids' foods. Like it's specifically packed and made for kids.
If you go to the supermarket or even drugstore, they have a lot of kids-specific snacks that you can find. But like they just add like cream puffs.
I mean, there's treats lah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of treats. 100%. There's a lot
sandwiches.
Of treats. I think at this point, we are what we have left is like things to do and things to buy. The safe way to approach this is that okay, for families lah. If you're going for your kids, obviously, like my friends who go there with their kids, it's theme parks and stuff. We already talked about that a bit.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of activities, do know that plan your travel time, and that's all I'm going to say. Because
and it helps to. We do usually one main thing a day.
One thing a day for kids lah.
Yeah,
but
so we do like
pacing.
One main, and then like apart from that,
After
like
that,
for like the other couples, they're like, okay, you go and like shop or like go see and do other things.
As a first time family in Japan, I feel that everything looks beautiful. So you can do a lot of touristy things. A lot of these things, unless it's stated it's for kids, right? It's actually just very grown up stuff, like sightseeing. Really boring for Haley.
And like, especially when we went to Osaka. So we went Osaka, Kyoto, Nara, Kobe. Then the rest, they went on to Tokyo after we left.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest Tokyo for kids based on your experience and what you say.
I'll tell you in a bit like what you can do.
But for like Osaka, it's wonderful for children. I think there's a lot of things to do.
Yep.
We didn't. Honestly, if you go to tour, right, you see all the places to go is either shrines, temples.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong lah. But like, there's only I don't think Haley would have like enjoy going all the way there just to see a building. I think so. Like, what really helps is experiences.
Yeah.
So like when we went to Osaka Castle, the main agenda wasn't like to go see the castle. We had like a picnic on the way to the castle. So like kids, like they remember that.
Yeah.
Now, like, can't say you go to Osaka, you don't see Osaka Castle, right?
Yeah. The fun part was the picnic was also spontaneous.
Yeah.
So they do sell picnic mats because a lot of people do picnics there. And it's lovely. The weather is lovely. It's not too warm. There's just 1 or 2 mosquitoes, which is fine. And I think it's the things you do along the way. If you are, I also understand that if parents are there for the first time, also want to experience it, there are things you can do along the way to your sites.
So we try to do like, if we have to do one thing, then we try to do something along the way that's for the kids. So like, oh, let's go get like some ice cream here. Or like, oh, let's have a picnic. So something for them. Then like, okay, let's go see castle. That is like for us.
Osaka got very lovely things along the way. There's like mochi places, got aquariums, got you found the very, I would call the underground theme park, you know, compared to USS. Yes.
Theme park was really nice.
But I also can recommend for parents, there's a lot of arcades and places where kids will love. Soft toys, franchise stores, and things that you can treat your kid alongside. Like the mochi stuff is one of them. The other one is like the fish cake. The fish treat with red bean and custard inside. So there are things that along the way can be very memorable for your kid. Even if you're going to like see a site that they don't care about. The important part is get a good stroller and keep their hands and mouth full.
Definitely bring stroller there. I think a lot of walking, even for Haley, like it was quite a lot for her to.
And if you travel to other places, just keep in mind sunscreen is a big deal because you don't feel the sun until you get the sunburn.
And a lot of water.
Yeah, that's that. Nara is definitely I mean, I was just going to say, know what season you're going in Nara because we went when it was mating season for the deers and they were very aggressive. So just know that it's not all butterflies. The deers look rabid at some point.
So when we went to Nara, I think it was a very good idea that we planned a family photo shoot when we were there. And then while we sightsee, then we took photos, right? But I think now look back, like it's very nice because we had an agenda which was to take photos in the different spots. I felt like if we went there without the agenda, right, it was like, just go see. Then they're like, oh, very nice pavilion. What do we do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Photos.
Next. But and other than that, it's like deers and stuff, right?
I do feel that unless you're going to a place where it's really made for kids, a lot of things are for adults or grown-ups.
But the kids really love Nara, like feeding of the deers for
I think they just like an open space to run.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. It's so lovely. And we went when it was the sweet osmanthus trees were in bloom. So it smelled like heaven everywhere.
Yes.
I need to track down this essential
oil.
So
is this like this plant, this tree that had like orange flowers? So we first smelled it when we went to Kobe, the herb garden. Then Mihan's like, immediately his sinuses, like his nose just cleared up. They were like, my goodness, what is that smell? What's this magical smell? Yeah. And then only when we went to Nara, the photographer told us that, oh, it's this sweet osmanthus. I can't remember what is the Japanese name for it.
I also used my iPhone to take a photo and it identified the plant for me. So that's crazy. Okay, it's called sweet osmanthus.
So we were trying to locate. You can actually buy the essential oil, which was what I wanted to get. But then they will make it on the spot, but you have to wait.
Yeah. We didn't get it.
And any stores that we went, apparently Mingli, they also couldn't find it. They found it
the one last one. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So anyone who knows where to get this essential,
and it's only there during autumn season.
Yeah, it's an autumn flower. Oh, amazing.
So if you go like in this month or two,
no more already by the time we hear this podcast. But hey,
maybe.
So moving on from that, I think solo traveling. Okay, this is the fun part. I think there's a bit more to talk about when it comes to traveling by yourself.
Yeah.
You do have the liberty to go station to station a lot more. I can cover 2 stations within the day. It is possible because you're going to specific places. Just know that in Tokyo, it's very city lah. So it's a lot of
walking, right?
It's a lot of walking because you don't get any stops in between for the stations. You do need to get out and walk somewhere. Don't underestimate the distance from station to station. It is a walk. It is at least a 15-minute walk, 10-minute walk from station to station. Osaka is interesting because a lot of it is very spaced apart. But there were like districts shopping in Osaka. For me, it was like there's a whole district just for collecting like trading
collectibles,
cards,
right?
which was crazy. It's like
Where's
Namba.
that area?
It's near Namba,
Namba.
right? But in Tokyo, it's everywhere. So Tokyo has arcades everywhere. It has comic book stores everywhere. It has franchises everywhere. It's Pokemon centers literally not everywhere, but here and there. You do as a traveler in Tokyo, you want to go to specific spots for sure. It's weird because Osaka is not as iconic. Osaka, you go to places but you never really heard of it unless it's like the Osaka Castle. But in Tokyo, you would go to places like you heard about Shibuya. It's a place. It's not like an iconic location. It's a place where there are places you've used and seen in comics or movies. You want to definitely go to like places where Shibuya also is where Hachiko statue is, right? So there's places like Shibuya, Shinjuku. You've heard of places like Akihabara in Tokyo. Akihabara is just overstimulating. There's the similar place to that in Osaka is like Dotonbori, which is very colorful and vibrant.
It's where all the streets and the Glycoman.
Yeah, the Glycoman. Until today, I don't understand this, but
we also just took a picture.
We just take a picture because we are tourists. But yeah, in Tokyo, I think the fun part is that there's a lot of things to see if you want to spend money. I double this down again. A lot of things to see if you want to spend money. And we talked about packing earlier, right? This is where you need to be smart. Are you going there to buy stuff? Because if you're going there to buy stuff, you need to focus on what you want to buy, or you will get...
How will people know what they want to buy if they haven't been there before?
Planning law. You got to...
Ask around lah.
Yeah. Because like if you like...
Okay, what would you recommend people to buy?
Yeah. So everyone's going to buy treats. Like you're going to come back with a stash full of chocolate and treats. You need to make space for that. And the stupid part about that is a lot of the packaging is air. So you just get ready to have
but
air.
now remember like all the claw machines, now they have those vacuum sealed.
That's for people who want to collect claw machines. They have vacuum sealers and vacuum packers in the claw machine
but really their gacha there, right? It's heaven for Haley especially because their toys are so nice.
Yeah, it's uncountable how much gacha is there now. So if you're going there to hunt for gacha and toys, do know that you will need a medium-sized bag to L-size bag. But because now some places like there's a franchise called Taito. Taito has a vacuum seal packer.
Only Taito.
It's so good. Yeah, we saw it there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They vacuum your toy down into a sheet for you. Then you can play more, obviously.
Yeah.
Do know that if you're going as a plushie hunter, you need a lot of space. You're going as a clothes hunter, just don't pack clothes. Wear your new clothes back. You know?
They always like, like the group they went to like Muji, Uniqlo.
Yeah, there are flagship stores that you need to, as a solo traveler or adult. Muji is from Japan, obviously. Uniqlo is from Japan. These are the places you really want to visit.
And I hear like certain days they have like very like special discounts.
Oh yeah,
you need to like really
so
search for
cheap.
It.
So things like the Muji Cafe or Muji Foods, where you don't find in KL as much or as much variety, you need to really go for it. Everything in Japan has a Japan collaboration at some point. So you want to go there and find things like this. But for travel, if you are solo, you have a lot of options to book different restaurants. Try the local foods. Try things that are not like pasta, like Italian pasta. Try Japanese stuff, the Japanese style pasta, like the omurice.
Things that you cannot find here, or you would pay a fraction of the price.
Yeah. So a thing like this is the important part about, I think, traveling to Japan. You need to decide your categories. You're going for clothes. You're going for food. You're going for collectibles. You're going for stationery. You're going for
stationery.
Yeah, we didn't even touch that as a family. But in Ginza, there's a 8-story building full of stationery that my sister went to and I went
if
to.
you love scrapbooking,
you will spend your money there, right? So if you are packing, you work backwards from, you potentially will spend money. Bring at least a bag that can carry your stuff back.
Do you spend mostly, because a lot of people ask like, cash versus credit card?
Yeah, that's the amazing part now, right? So when we were going there, we used
Tokyo?
GX Bank, right?
Tokyo,
I used GX Bank like mad.
But now GX Bank is still 0%.
Yes. Now, so if I'm not wrong, I'm not paid by them to say this. I just want to say, use cards that are the least foreign fee
usually
charges,
0%,
which at this point is a certain card, and the certain card also has 1% cashback. Everywhere for traveling, overseas buy.
Overseas,
So even like the thing everyone is very used to, you can use Wise to buy and prepare yen, and then you withdraw it there because that's the cheapest. If you exchange money there, I don't know the rates, but it is actually amazing that I didn't change as much money as I thought I would.
So for me, I used mostly only cash.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to the market, they'll say cash only.
Yeah, it depends where you go. Tokyo is very card friendly.
Tokyo is very card friendly.
Yes.
Osaka, we went to the wet market, only cash.
Yeah.
But supermarkets and elsewhere, it's fine.
Alipay is accepted a lot. So Malaysia's version is touch and go. You can have a lot of options for cards. I actually challenged myself to change less than 10,000 yen as a solo traveler. And it's true enough, you really can do it. You just need to be very smart with your cards, right? So do have spare change. You can't run from it because you want to use a vending machine. Some of them don't have a card terminal. And some places that you go to, like if you want to buy Japanese knives.
So I bought knives. I think things to look out for. So knives, scissors.
Yeah. Stationaries, but knives and cutleries.
Yeah, I bought a knife.
In Osaka, it's ceramics. We didn't buy too many because we didn't have space.
I would have,
This is a way you can organize your packing backwards. You need to know what you want to buy and how you're going to make space for it, because Japan is a franchise world and there's just so many things you can buy. In Tokyo, there's a literal place called Sunshine Plaza. I mean, now I'm a bit more motivated to do my own solo thing. I didn't post it up at all. But there is places that have themes or such specific things you can just shop in Tokyo. In Osaka, it was more of a lot of experiences. So you buy experiences, but you can't bring them back, obviously. But yeah, I don't think it's a very easy guide for people who are traveling for the first time. If you go in and it's all foreigners inside, you know it's going to be expensive. If you go in and it's all locals.
Like around the Namba area, Dotonbori, like everything was very expensive. Like even
it's all foreigners inside.
Like
but when you go back to where we stay, it's all locals and it's so cheap, right? So that's a very easy hack. Just know that, I don't know whether people need to know this. You can drink the tap water, but I think as Malaysians, we're just not used to it.
We tried. I didn't like the taste of it, so we just bought bottled water.
There's cheaper. Don't buy water from convenience stores. Go to grocery stores. And that's really it. In terms of events and stuff, there is touristy things to do. There's a lot of touristy things to do. We talked about it. Just prep for it and buy in advance. In terms of shopping, we I think we covered all the verticals. You just need space. That's why people have a double bag.
Yeah.
My brother
bought a bag,
and bought it around town. He really looked like a tourist because he had a bright yellow luggage bag around his shopping.
When we were in Dotonbori, I saw this guy who had 3 cabin-sized bags.
Yeah, people
I think
do that.
offer, right? They want to like buy cheap bags.
I thought they are leaving their Airbnb. It's not.
No, it's empty.
People do that for shopping.
Around,
it's ridiculous, but it makes a lot of sense because it's easier to take that along compared to bags. It's very hard to travel with plastic bags and lugging them around in the train.
I think the difference, like when he was in Tokyo and it was just himself, he bought a lot more things back.
Yeah.
This time with the kids, like I didn't buy. I only bought 2 things.
We spent most on food.
Yeah, on food, and then also like we just bought like some snacks. Not a lot of things.
Yeah.
But one, I guess maybe you want to. A lot of people ask. So I also asked like my friends, like when you go with kids, what do you do for their naps? One thing to know when you travel with kids, right? All your routine, right, goes out the window.
Bye-bye.
Because especially you go in groups, it's very... how do you go out and then like, I need to go back to my Airbnb to nap?
Yeah.
So for us, is we try to let Sarah have at least her morning naps. She naps at like maybe like 9 and to 10. Then after that, we go. So then she will just do her second nap if she needs to in the carrier.
Yeah, the tiredness just got to her and she learned how to sleep outside.
Yeah.
So she just was so tired, she fell asleep everywhere.
That's why we do like the alternate days so that at least the next day she can have like a proper nap in the house. And then another day which is full on, then just like whatever lah. If she's sleepy, then she sleep lah. If she don't sleep, then at night just sleep earlier.
Yeah, I mean we do take a bit more care when it comes to her sleep because of her health.
Yeah.
But if you have a robust baby that never falls sick, then just go and let him sleep or let her sleep outside.
I packed like a whole 1 bag of all their medication also, just in case.
Yeah, traveling medicines, guys. I just want to say, it's not easy to buy medicine in Japan. Because if they
you
don't
know
understand,
like if it's the same thing or like right dose or...
Yeah, they have everything for everything. So you might not be buying the right everything for your thing. I just highly recommend... If you have a local friend, just ask them first.
I think if you have been there before or you know someone who stays in that area, it's so a lot easier.
Yeah.
If not, I also would just pack and make sure I have enough for at least the first 3 to 4 days.
Yes.
So I brought enough diapers, enough like milk powder. But then we also ran out along the trip. And then I was just so afraid, like, what if Sarah don't take that milk powder? Then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
How wrong we were.
But my goodness, it's so cheap. Like literally a bottle of organic milk here, we pay like 100, right? There, one bottle, it's one can, it's 40 plus ringgit, and it smells the same, it tastes the same, and Sarah just took it.
Yeah, I think we're just so
diapers cheaper, milk powder cheaper,
quality better.
Yes,
and
so
the kids
it's okay.
Love it. Yeah. Other than just basic necessities like medicine and stuff like that, we do recommend just bring your own.
Yeah.
Because the labels and the brands there are very different.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's pretty much it, right?
Anything you need, you can definitely find it there. As long, wherever you stay, just search for laundromat, supermarket, and drugstore. Yeah. And then you're good.
I hope this helps you guys. There's a lot of info, like just to drop because... And this was a necessary thing because you don't want to type again and put it out there. But if you guys have any questions, you can just drop them here or go and search any of our content and ask us about stuff. And I wish you all the best. Japan is is the first place in the world that I feel like I want to plan for the next trip back.
I think it's so beautiful because you can go there 10 times to the same place and you have different itineraries and it's a total different experience.
It's really one of those places where you got things to do. There will be things to do. There are things to see compared to other places where I go, okay, we're done with this. I come back, it's the same thing, right? I look forward to going back to Japan, even to the same place. Because there's just so much to explore. We didn't even go the aesthetic routes yet. We haven't gone to the mountains with the snow. Snowboarding, we have not done any shrines. And also, we already had so much fun.
I think I'm so glad that Hayley's at the age where she will really remember this trip.
I'm so glad we realized that she needed spectacles before the trip. If not, she'd just be seeing blur. So really shout out to the spectacle people.
And then we went, right? Really, it's like perfect timing because Hailey is technically 6 this year, but her birthday is only in December. So she's still fit. Like
kids discount.
Kids under 6, like everything is free.
Free. Oh my
So
gosh.
and then Sarah is 1+, right? Her birthday, she only turns 2 in February next year. So she still fits under 2.
Yeah.
So they're both at this stage where like they really fit in all those
the
like
discounts
category discounts. Yeah.
I think I got nothing bad to say about Japan.
I would still say if you got kids, you want to travel, you can travel lah. It's not say like
just know it's not easy though.
It really will be a like level 8 difficulty to travel with young kids.
Yeah. I think if you are
and they don't remember. That's the thing. Like,
so that's why it's really more for you. It's really more for you. And just know that. But if anything else, we are not travel gurus. We're just traveling. We're just traveling for the first time. And this is a very honest account. Yeah. But I know a lot of people are traveling for the first time. So I hope this helps. Anything else to say?
No.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't know whether we should do this again, but it was fun doing it. Please subscribe. We hope you listen to all our podcasts as well. Follow us on our socials and the takeaway table. We got everything lah. We got Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. If you want to see the videos, we're on YouTube as well. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Oi, sit down lah.